Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Okay, we'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. I'm not going to recite the whole Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we are going to continue from Srimad Bhagvatam, first verse of the first chapter of first canto. In the last session, on a couple of weeks back, I was discussing on this first verse, and I mentioned there are multiple meanings behind this first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this first three verses actually constitute the Mangalacharan for the whole Bhagavatam. Just to recap on what I was explaining in my previous session, we'll see the recap, and then we'll go into the other meaning behind this verse and further verses. Oh, before that, we'll recite the verse a couple of times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasya Yatonmayati Taratash Chateshvabhignaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Parandhimahi Janmadyasya Yatonmayati Taratash Charteshvabhignaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Parandhimahi Janmadasya yatonmayati taratash charteshvabhignaswarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyanti yatsuraya tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuvakam Satyam Parandhimahi. Okay, so last time we saw a general meaning of this first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains, which gives general understanding of who is God. So it contains multiple phrases, this particular verse. The first phrase is Janmadhyasya Taha. So Janma means birth or creation. Adi means etc. So birth, creation, maintenance and destruction of this world, Asya, it has come from somebody. And that somebody is explained later, but it is going to define the characteristics of that person, which is the next one is Anvayat itaratascha arteshu abhignaha. So this person knows everything in and out of this universe. Artha means the products, different products coming out of this universe. And then this person is also Swarat. He's independent. He's not like the Jiva. And he elaborated the Brahma. Brahma here means the Vedas. It is not Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is indicated here as Adi Kavi, in this first poet. Brahma is Lord Brahma. Brahma means Vedas. So he elaborated Vedas into the heart of Lord Brahma. And Muhyanti at Suraya, he confuses even the Suris or demigods or great heroes like Shiva, Indra, Brahma, and everyone. So this personality is what being glorified here. Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo, like fire, water, earth. If you mix up, vinimaya means mixing up. If you mix up the ideas of fire, water, and earth, like that, the Suris are put into illusion. They are bewildered. I'm going faster because we have seen this meaning in our last session. So when you walk in the desert, you would see a water, but that water is mistaken because it's mirage. When you go closer to it, it's actually not water, it's the heat wave. Heat wave is creating that appearance of water. So we are mistaking heat for water. So fire for water. Like that, we are mixing up the ideas. Yatra trisargo mrisha. So this word, which is mrisha or false, in the sense that it is not permanent, it is temporary. But this world is made to appear real because of the Maya Shakti of the Supreme Lord. So because of the Lord, this world looks like real in the sense that it is going to permanently exist to us. Or he gives animation to this whole world. The Supreme Lord is giving animation to the whole world. So in this way, he is giving reality to the whole world. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam. But this person is not affected by all these kuhakas. Kuhaka means illusion, deceitfulness. He's not affected by that. By his own Shakti, Dhamma means Shakti also. By his own Shakti, he's always avoiding the touch of Maya. Satyam Param, this absolute truth or the great truth, or the highest truth. Let us meditate upon that highest truth, Dhimahi. So Vyasadeva is calling all of us to meditate on this highest truth. So here the highest truth is given in a general sense, because this highest truth is explained in detail in the next chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is this Satyam Param? But because he is introducing the topic, he isn't explicitly saying who is this Satyam Param here. Okay. So now, the main subject, the main essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is 10th canto. That's why Prabhupada, when he has translated the first 2 cantos of Bhagavatam, he wanted to translate the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, because what if he, what if he couldn't complete the translation of the whole Bhagavatam? At least he has provided the very important part of Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, which is full of pastimes of Krishna. So he translated that after completing the 2 cantos of Bhagavatam. He translated Krishna book, and all the devotees were reading Krishna book. Not only reading, they are also distributing to others before the whole Bhagavatam is even completed. So that is the main part of Bhagavatam, but that doesn't mean we will not read the other parts of the Bhagavatam. The whole Bhagavatam is actually Krishna, but the essence or the important or the unique presentation of Bhagavatam is the 10th canto, Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. So that main subject, the unique presentation of Bhagavatam, should also be presented in the first verse. So Mangalacharan should indicate not only glorification of the God in a general sense, it should also indicate the subject matter, the main subject that this work is going to give. So in that sense, Krishna should also be indicated in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam directly, not just indirectly, right? So let's look at what is the meaning. Janma. So we are going to split this verse in a different way. Here, if you see Janmadi Asya, it is split like this, 2 words. But instead, we are going to split like Janma Adyasya. So Janma means birth. Adyasya means of the Adi, of the Supreme Person. Who is Adi? Krishna is the Supreme Person. Krishna is the Adi. Krishna is the beginning of everything. Krishna is the chief person. Krishna is the source of everything. So he is existing from the very beginning. And though he is the very beginning, he is also taking birth. Janma. So just to give a background on how it is allowed in Sanskrit. I mean, anywhere you can split like this, doesn't look like a valid rule, right? So let me just check my audio before that. 1 second. Is my voice clear to you? Can anybody confirm it? Rohini Dulal Prabhu?
Yes, go. It is clear. Voice is clear.
Yes, bro.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So 1 second again. All right. Okay. So the verse is given like this. The first line of this verse is like this, right? We increase font size. Okay. But in Sanskrit, there is no concept of space. The space is introduced later for easier reading, but in Sanskrit, there is no space. In Western language, like English, we have space, punctuation marks, all these things. In Sanskrit, it is not like that. So if you look at the old manuscripts, the whole verse will be like this. There is no apostrophe also, right? So it will be like this. It will be very difficult to read through. Oh, where is the word starting? Where is the word ending? So that is why commentaries were required, because the main first work of a commentator is actually to split the words. He will give in his commentary, this is how you split. This word means this word means that, like that, right? So you can split the word like this, Janmadi Asya. This is one way to split. Okay. The other way to split is Janma Adyasya. So I'm introducing a here that is allowed in Sandhi. This A gets separated, just like the example Nityananda. Nityananda means Nitya plus Ananda, like that. So this A merged together becomes one A, right? So like that, Janma Adyasya. So you split it like this, Janma and Adyasya. So the birth of the Adi, this which is Krishna. Okay. Yataha, it has happened somewhere. Where did Krishna's birth happen? In Kamsa's prison. So from that place, Yataha means wherever it has happened, from that place, Yataha. Anu Ayad, he actually went away. This is coming from the word Aya. So Anu Aya means he moved from one place to another. Itarataha, to another place. So after he has taken birth in the prison of Kamsa, to Devaki and Vasudev, he moved to another place, which is Vrindavan, right? So he did not stay in the jail alone. He moved to another place. This is beautifully captured in the first phrase of the first verse. Okay. And then Arteshu Abhignaha. So why did he move from the Kamsa's prison to Vrindavan? Because he knows his purposes. Artha means also purpose. So for a particular purpose, he has moved. So what is that purpose? One purpose is that he wants to cheat Kamsa. So he cheated. He did that. When he has taken birth in the prison, he made everyone sleep there. And all the guards, they were put into sleep. And then he escaped out of the prison. And then Durga Devi was placed there. And Kamsa was confused. He was waiting for the 8th child, but then he was cheated. So he wanted to cheat. That is one of his purposes. And the other purpose, which is the main purpose, is to manifest his pastimes of childhood and boyhood and youthhood in Vrindavan. So his pastimes are very sweet. And he wants to manifest this sweet pastimes, the Vraja pastimes, to the whole world. And that is his purpose. So he knows his purpose. Because of those purposes, he has moved from the prison house to Vrindavan. But then the question will come, oh, Krishna is afraid of Kamsa. That is why he has moved away. Which god is afraid of a normal person or a demon, but so to speak? Looks like a god is afraid of Satan. No, that's not the case here. He is mentioned as Swarad, independent. Some people may also say that, oh, Krishna is too much controlled by his devotees. In the case of Krishna, that he moved out of the jail to meet his relatives there in Vrindavan, to the sweet devotees. So people may criticize, oh, he's just controlled completely by his devotees. He's not independent god, something like that. He's a very biased person or like that. No, he's Swarat. That is why we see in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he has taken his sannyas and he was staying in Jagannath Puri, he wanted to go South India tour. So he was requesting his devotees as an associates that he wants to go to South India tour, and they were not letting him go because they couldn't bear the separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to comply with their request, he stayed there for some time, but after some time, he went. And all the devotees, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leaving Jagannath Puri, all the devotees were after him. Then they were trying to somehow or the other stop because they couldn't bear the separation. And then at one point, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was there, and he fell unconscious. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't even turn back. He simply went forward without looking back. Swarat, independence of the Lord. He showed his Ishvara, Ishvaratva, Ishvara Bhava. So, but that doesn't mean that he is a cruel person. Oh, Krishna is going to leave us even if we go to the spiritual world also. What's the point? It doesn't look so so interesting or blissful situation. It looks like a very miserable situation. No, in the stage of prema, one is going to encounter two things: union, which is called sambhoga, and separation, vipralamba. So the prema is like a coin. So the coin has two sides, heads and the tails, right? When you accept a coin, you are accepting both sides. You cannot accept just the one part of the coin. So the prema itself has these two aspects, sambhoga and vipralamba. You're going to experience both. But it is not like in this material world. If I am separated from my father or from my wife or my children, I feel miserable. I don't like that situation. I undergo agony. I undergo mental suffering. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. The both aspects of prema are relishable. Even the sambhoga is relishable and the vipralamba is relishable. Both are going to give bliss to the devotee. Higher and higher bliss. In sambhoga, the devotee is going to experience an unlimited amount of bliss in the union with the Lord, that is, being in the association of the Lord. And when the Lord leaves, his love is going to increase further. Even though prema itself is unlimited, it is still increasing. When the Lord leaves, his love toward the Lord increases, his longing increases further. And then the Lord appears back to that person, to that devotee. Then the love increases multifold again because he has acquired the Lord. And then the Lord again leaves. Again, the separation, longing, the prema increases. And it goes on, keep increasing and increasing and increasing. And one gets to experience newer and newer taste and variety in the spiritual world. So in this material world, it is not like that. Let's say I like sugarcane. In South India, they used to eat this sugarcane, full cane, you take it and put it in your mouth and then, chew just like that. So especially in festivals like Pongal. So let's say I like this sugarcane, which is very sweet. How many sugar canes I can eat? Maybe I can eat one, even that's also too much. One full stick I can eat. But beyond that, I'm not going to like it because I'm bored. Not just bored. I start hating the taste, I don't want it because there is no more pleasure in it. The pleasure is becoming suffering. I don't want it. This is the material world. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. Even though the spiritual bliss is unlimited, it still keeps on increasing again and again. So that is why in this material world, we get bored with one thing very easily. One iPhone 12 came and then, no, I'm bored, throw it away, get iPhone 14 new because there is no more pleasure in it. I just get bored and then I get another iPhone. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. It is always ever fresh. It is increasing bliss. It is completely new every moment you are going to experience. That is prema. So even though the Lord, because of his swarat, because of his independence, leaves the devotees, and the devotees feel the vipralamba, the separation from the Lord, because of their longing, the Lord again manifests within their heart. So in this world, if I imagine Barack Obama in my heart, I am not going to meet Barack Obama. It's completely imagination. I have to go and physically meet if I have to meet Barack Obama, right? But in the spiritual world, there is no difference between inside and outside. It's all the same thing because it's absolute. So Krishna, when he manifests within the heart, is actually Krishna, and you can go and embrace him and you can perform pastimes with him. So in the Vipralamba stage, he again manifests. It's called Spurti. He manifests, and then the devotees go and engage in pastimes with him. And then they again relish the union, even in separation. Okay. So in this way, though it looks like he's doing an activity that's not so relishable, actually it's very relishable, right? But he also exhibits his independence, which is part of God. We cannot reject part of God. It's God we have to accept in fullness. Krishna we have to accept in fullness. He is independent, Swarat. But then the question comes, he takes birth and then he runs away from Kamsa and then he leaves people. he looks like a common person, right? He doesn't look like a God or something like that. No, he is God. Why? Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. So Adikavi here also means, I'll just complete this point, then I will take the reflection and question. Adikavi here means, again, Brahma. So Brahma here means, now Brahman, the spiritual aspect, or the impersonal Brahman, you can say, or the spiritual aspect, or Brahma also means the Supreme Lord, because Brahma comes from the root Bru, which means the great. Who is great? Supreme Lord is the great. So he revealed Brahman to Brahma, Lord Brahma, where in the Brahma Vimohana Lila. So in the Brahma Vimohana Lila, what happened? So Brahma was living in his planet, and then he's watching what Krishna is trying to do. So one time, Krishna and his friends, they all gathered together, and then they were playing in the forest. Daily they go to forest and they do cow herding activities. And they also play with each other. And then lunchtime came, noontime came, and they all sat together. So Krishna sitting in the center, and the boys were all sitting around Krishna. And they were opening their tiffin boxes, and then they're sharing food with each other. And they are giving food to Krishna, and then they're taking food from Krishna's hand. And Krishna is also playing with his food and takes from somebody else, and then he eats. My Vishnu is Yagya book. My Vishnu eats food, offerings from Yagya. Brahma is thinking, oh, here Krishna is simply picking up food from somebody else. Now, Yagya, if you think about it, it is actually a very high process. So first of all, the Yagya has to be conducted by well-qualified Brahmanas. First, one needs to be very much qualified to become a Brahmana. You have to be in Sattoguna, mostly in Sattoguna. Then you get the birth of a Brahmana with all the qualities of a Brahmana. Then after that, you have to go to the Gurukul and then study Sanskrit for a long time. 12 years you have to do to master. And then you study the Vedas. Then you memorize the Vedas. Then you learn the Vedas. Then you learn the Upavedas. You learn how to pronounce the Vedic mantras properly. Here, when we are pronouncing the Puranas, it's okay even if you pronounce it wrongly. Krishna sees only the bhava. But there, Vedic mantras have to be pronounced exactly perfectly. If you do a mistake, it's going to backfire, right? So you have to learn the pronunciation correctly. And you have to learn how to conduct the sacrifices, very complicated procedures. And now one person will not be able to do. That is why you have multiple persons. There are different titles are there in the Brahmanas among themselves who are conducting the Vedic Yagya. And then all of them come together. And then the whole Yagya requires a lot of money expense. The king has to supply a lot of money to conduct an Yagya sacrifice. Because the purity of the items, the complexity of the procedure, the items they have to collect, and the donations, charity they have to give, all these things have to be done. It requires a lot of expenditure. The king has to arrange for it. And after this, with all pure first-class items, they are giving offerings into the fire to Vishnu, the Yagya book. He enjoys that offering. So Brahma is thinking, this person who is enjoying the offerings of Yagya, he's simply sitting here in Vrindavan and then simply grabbing from his friend's hands and then eating. He doesn't look like my Vishnu. He should be someone else. So he was confused, Brahma. So he went and stole all the cowherd boys and the calves to test what Krishna is going to do. So Krishna, he expanded himself as calves and cowherd boys. And then he performed like that, the Leela, for 1 year. And then Brahma came back and then he was surprised. Then he understood, oh, this is not a normal person. This is somebody special. This is my Lord. This is even greater than Lord. Then at that point, Krishna then revealed all the cowherd boy forms and the calves. Everything became like a Vishnu. And the Vishnu were performing the creation all in one place. Brahma was looking at thousands and thousands of Vishnu around him. All of them are doing creation activity. He saw only one creation previously. Now he's seeing more and so many Vishnus performing creations simultaneously. Oh, he said that he's not even Vishnu. He is the source of Vishnu, Krishna, right? So he's going to that extent. And then he's completely convinced about the position of Krishna there. So we'll see a verse, what Brahma says at the end, towards the end of his prayer, after he has this realization. So this is the verse from 10th canto, 14th chapter, 34th verse. We'll recite this. This is in the Brahma Samhita meter. Tadbhuri bhagyam miha janma. I'm sorry. Tadbhuri bhagyam miha janma kimapyatavyam. Yad gokule pikatamangri rajobhishekam. Yad jivitantu nikilam bhagavan mukundas. Twadyapi yat padaraja shruti mrigyameva. This Brahma is praying to Krishna. He says, Tad Bhuri Bhagyam. It is a great fortune. Bhuri means great. It is a great fortune. What is a great fortune? Iha Janma Kimapi Atavyam Yat Gokule Api. In this Gokula, in the Vrindavan, in the forest of Vrindavan, Atavi, forest of Vrindavan, if I take birth, Janma, any birth, Kimapi, any birth, if I, any kind of birth, if I take, that is actually a Bhuri Bhagyam. That's a great fortune. Why is that? Katamangri Rajobhishekam. Because I am going to be bathed with the dust of the feet of somebody. Katama means somebody. Somebody's lotus feet's dust, I'm going to be continuously bathed. Who is that somebody? Yad jivitam tu nikilam Bhagavan Mukundaha. So Bhagavan Mukunda, Lord Krishna, is dear to these people. Yad jivitam, whose life and soul is Krishna, that person's foot's dust, I'm going to bathe. Or nikilam, or Krishna is everything for them, not just life. He is everything for them. Who is that? Vrajavasis. So Vrajavasis are going to bathe me with their foot's dust. And that is why taking birth in the forest of Gokula is actually Bhuri Bhagya. It's a great fortune. But who is this Mukunda? Who is this person? Why he is being so much glorified? Why his devotees are being so much glorified? Why the dust of the feet of the devotees are being so much glorified here? Who is this Mukunda? He must be a great person, right? So then it says, Tu adya api yad padarajaha shruti mrigyameva. Shruti, the Vedas are searching. Searching for what? Yat padarajaha, the dust of the feet of this person. That is Bhagavan Mukunda. When are they searching? Adyapi, even today they are searching. They couldn't find. The Vedas are searching for the dust of the feet of Krishna. They are not able to still find. So that person, even the Shrutis are searching, not just for the form of Krishna, it's for searching for the dust of the feet of Krishna. And his devotees are so much glorious. And who am I? I'm nothing in front of these devotees. So I just want to take a birth so that I'll be bathed continuously with the dust of this devotees. So Brahma is convinced that much after seeing the powers of Krishna. Okay, so before I continue, somebody wants to reflect. I think Rohini Dulal Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you for the deep insights into this verse, Prabhu. Prabhuji, I think I missed to understand the word abhigna. Was it referring to the childhood and the youthful pastimes of the Lord, and how is it related?
So abhi means complete, gnya means knowing. The one who knows completely. That's what abhignya. Arteshu abhignya. Artha means purpose. Arteshu, in the multiple purposes. So basically, he knows his purposes. That is the meaning. That is the translation of this word. He knows what is he going to do. The purposes are he is going to cheat Kamsa, and he is also going to manifest his Vrindavan pastimes. So that is the purpose of Krishna. He knows that.
So it's the derived meaning of the two words combined.
Yeah, two words combined together. Arteshu abhignya. He knows his purposes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Anybody else wants to reflect anything or any questions? before I move forward? Or any comments? All right, I'm going to move forward. So Mukhyanti Yat Surayaha. So this person, this Krishna, is bewildering the Suris. He's bewildering Suris like Narada Muni. So one time Narada Muni was going to Dwaraka. He wanted to understand how Krishna, after marrying 16,000 queens, he's living, how he's maintaining all of these queens, right? So you want to understand that because when the 16,000 queens were kidnapped by Narakashur, Krishna went and saved all these princesses, and then the princesses wanted to get married to Krishna, so Krishna married all these 16,000 princesses. And then he brought back to his place, and then he gave single palace for every queen. So he has 16,000 palaces for 16,000 queens. So Narada Muni want to see how one Krishna is, satisfying all these queens. So he went to Dwaraka. He went first to the palace of Rukmini, and then there he saw that Rukmini Devi was fanning Krishna. Even though Rukmini Devi herself was being attended by so many servants, she is fanning Krishna. So as soon as Krishna saw that Narada Muni has come, he immediately woke up from his bed, and then he ran towards Narada Muni and saying, "Oh, please, come here. Thank you so much for coming here and purifying the entire palace. Please take a seat. Sit here." And then, he said sweet words to Narada Muni. So this is also how we welcome the guests at our place. So when the guests come to our place, we give them at least 3 minimal things. One is that we give sweet words. We speak sweet words to them. We give at least water to drink, and then a seat to sit. We don't just simply talk to them and then send them away in the door, right? We receive them nicely, and then we give at least, if not food, right? These 3 things should be given. So Krishna, and depending on that, if he is your guru, the person you are receiving, then you give more respect, like doing the foot wash and doing arati and so on. So depending on the devotee you are receiving, you give that much respect. So here Narada Muni is being received by Krishna. So immediately he washed the feet of Krishna. Krishna washed the feet of Narada Muni. All right. So he washed the feet of Narada Muni, and then he took that water and then he put it on his head. So we are being blessed now, Krishna is saying. So he is the Ganga is emanating from his feet, but then he is taking the water from Narada Muni's feet and then putting it on his head. He is a Bhakta Vatsala. But Narada Muni allowed him to perform these activities because he knows that Krishna is Brahmanya Deva. He likes the Brahmanas. He wants to glorify the Brahmanas. So Narada Muni let Krishna do his own activity. He did not interrupt that. So after that, Krishna asked, "How can I serve you?" Right? So then Narada Muni said that, actually, I want to understand your glories, and that's why I have come here. Saying that, Narada Muni then went to another palace, the palace of Satyabhama. There he saw, again Krishna was there, and Krishna was playing dice with Satyabhama. And then immediately he got up and then he ran towards Narada Muni. And then he said, "Oh, please welcome. Thank you so much for coming here. You have purified our palace." And then he started washing his feet and doing an arati and then receiving him as if he hasn't seen him before. Right? And then Narada Muni was bewildered. And Narada Muni is thinking, Narada Muni at one moment, he went to all the palaces, all the 16,000 palaces, because Narada Muni is also Sarvagata. He goes everywhere. So he went to all the palaces in one moment. And then he saw in one of the palaces, Krishna is performing, is actually going for a war. In another palace, he is actually doing a sword fighting, training himself. In another palace, he's sitting and joking with his friends. In another palace, he is actually doing the water pastimes. He's bathing in the water. And in another palace, he is actually, enjoying, taking advice from Uddhava about what to perform. So you see, Uddhava is also expanding. Uddhava was there in the first palace. Now he is also here. His associates are also expanding to all the palaces as well. So in this way, you see Krishna is everywhere and doing different activity. In another palace, he's actually getting his sons get married. So Vasudeva and Devaki were also there at that point, right? Not only that, all these things were happening at different times. In one palace, Krishna was meditating. That was morning time. In another palace, he was performing the noon duties. That was noon. In another palace, he is actually joking with his friends. That is in the evening. Different times of the day. Not just different times of the day. It is also different seasons. In one palace, it was summer. In one palace, it was winter. In another palace, it was autumn season. In this way, he's seeing everything is different. And Krishna is able to accomplish everything nicely. So in this way, Narada Muni observed the Yoga Maya, the power of the Yoga Maya of Krishna. And then he was very much satisfied by it. Then he started glorifying Krishna. So this Suri, like Narada Muni and Shiva, they are bewildered by Krishna, by the activities of Krishna. Mukhyanti yat Surayaha. Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha. But then where does Krishna appear? Krishna appears in this world, in this material world. So we can just easily get confused. Oh, he is looking like us. If Krishna today appears in front of you, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years back, if today Krishna appears in front of you, you can see him if he wants to manifest himself. But then we may get confused because our eyes are not tinged with prema. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. Because our eyes are not tinged with bhakti or the prema, we may confuse. We may look like a normal person to us. Right? So we may mistake his body is just like a material body, like our body. So that's why the next phrase says, Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo. So vinimaya means mixing up. You take fire, water, and earth, all these elements, you mix it up, and then you combine with the three sarga, which is three gunas. Three gunas. What do you get? Material body. You make a material body. That is mrisha. That is like a false thing. But Krishna is not mrisha. Krishna is amrisha. He is actually real, true. Krishna's body is not like that. How? Dhamna svena sada nirastagohakam. Forget about his body, his dhamma, which is like Vrindavan and Mathura, is eliminating all the illusions. Even today, you go to Vrindavan, if you have the eyes of prema, you can actually see the pastimes of Krishna being performed there. It's still going on. It's Nitya Leela. So just by taking shelter of these dhammas, we can actually remove our illusion. So through his own dhamma, he is always removing the illusion of his devotees. One of the main angas of bhakti, described by Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion, is taking shelter of Vrindavan. If physically it is not possible, one takes shelter of Vrindavan in the mind. One thinks in the mind that I am living in Vrindavan, right? So in this way, taking shelter of Vrindavan is mentioned because Dham is removing the illusion of the devotees, always. Then comes the last phrase, Satyam Param Dhimahi. But how come, where is Krishna? It should have been Krishnam Param Dhimahi. It says Satyam Param Dhimahi. So in the second chapter of the 10th canto, when Krishna has appeared, all the devatas are glorifying Krishna. So this is the verse, Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam. You see, it is Satyaparam, Param Satyam, Satyam Param. Satyasya yonim nigitam cha satye, satyasya satyam vrata satya netram, satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapannaha. He is glorified as Satya. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also quotes from Mahabharata and shows that Krishna's, one of the names of Krishna is Satya. Satyam, that's Satya, that Krishna. Param means Shreshta, the best person, the eminent person. Eminent Krishna. Let us meditate upon that person. Dhimahi. Vyasadeva is. So thus he has indicated Krishna directly in the first verse of Bhagavatam. So before I move forward, any reflection, any question anybody wants to say, share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Namaskar.
Dasa Madhav Das. Prabhu,
Yeah.
this explanation you gave about like how, how all these, these words can also mean about various aspects of Krishna. I have seen this kind of explanation, I think in 10th canto as well, in some of the verses where this typical style is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He typically gives this kind of explanation. So is that something from his commentary?
Yeah, it is from Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary. He actually gives 5 different types of explanation. And
Oh,
Jiva Goswami also gives multiple explanations.
Jiva Goswami also gives, okay.
Yes. So this second explanation, what I said, is directly from Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Okay. Yeah. He's a like a poet, right?
He's a Rasigra.
Rasiga. Yeah. So he has this kind of explanations.
Explanation.
Yeah. Okay, Rohini Prabhu, I think has a question or comment. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Just a reflection, Prabhuji.
Yes,
I think Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, maybe in the conversation with Devanand Pandit, he says that in Bhagavatam there is nothing except bhakti. So when a pure devotee sees Bhagavatam, maybe he interprets each and every verse in a different way than what we see it. Is that true, Prabhu?
Yeah, I mean, you can derive, like, even though we may get one meaning out of Bhagavatam, we may read through Prabhupada's purports, we may read through Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and then previous acharyas, we may read through their commentaries. Still, we cannot say, oh, I have read through all the meanings of Bhagavatam, because every word has unlimited meaning of Bhagavatam. It is so many meanings, and it is Amala Purana, and it has so much factor into it. We cannot, it's unlimited. That's why Kaviraj Goswami, whenever he describes the pastimes of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that, even Ananta Shesha could not complete all the pastimes of, Krishna. So it's unlimited. So Bhagavatam, which is non-different from Krishna. Actually, Bhagavatam is said to be the literary incarnation of Krishna. Krishna comes as in a book form. So Shastra form. So that sense, Bhagavatam meanings are also unlimited. We cannot say this is the limit. That's all. Only 5 meanings are there. No, unlimited meanings are there.
Thank you.
Very right, Prabhuji. Thank you. All right, we'll go to the second verse, which is the second part of the Mangalacharan. We'll recite the verse. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parairishvara Sadyo Hridyavarudhyate Trakrutibhi Shushrushubistatkshanat Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parairishvara Sadyo Hridyavarudhyate Trakrutibhi Shushrushubistatkshanat Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastamamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parairishvara Sadyo Hridyavarudhyate Trakrutibhi Shushrushubistatkshanat. Okay. So this first verse, we saw how it is glorifying Krishna, or Supreme Lord in general, right? The second verse is going to glorify about Bhagavatam itself, the subject, right? Dharma. So Bhagavatam is going to speak about Dharma. What kind of Dharma it is going to talk about? Projita Kaitava. Kaitava means cheating. Kitava. It comes from Kitava. So it is a cheating. There are so many dharmas which can cheat us. So in this material world, we have so many things, and they try to cheat us. For example, let's say if I want to purchase some Mac laptop, the latest M2 version, right? I go to a website and then I see somebody is present giving me Mac laptop for, let's say, M2 version for $1,000, which is very cheap. Okay, I get bewildered. I get an email like that. So I click on the link and then I go and pay all the money. And then I wait for the Mac laptop to come. And then I see it doesn't come. It never comes. I wait and wait and wait, and then it never arrives. So I have been cheated. I have been promised something, but then I am not delivered the goods. That is one kind of cheating, right? The second kind of cheating, that if instead of not sending me anything, if the website or whoever is running the website, they send me a copycat of M2 version. They put all the cheap parts in it and then they make it look like a Mac and then they send it to me. Then I also get cheated at that time because I expect the original version of Mac to be with me, but I have been cheated with some things lower than that. So I get cheated in two ways, that either you are not given the final product or you are given a low-class product. This is cheating. So dharmas are also like that. Dharma can promise you, in Vedas, sometimes you see the statements like, if you follow the Chaturmasya Vrata, you are going to get unlimited pious, punya. You can enjoy Swargaloka completely, nitya, eternally, like that. Exaggerated. So it's sort of a cheating dharma, because you don't get to enjoy the Swargaloka eternally. You have to come back. And also the bliss you're going to get in Swargaloka, you deserve more than that. I, as a soul, I am beyond this matter. I have bliss within me. So this, whatever the bliss that is derived from any part of this material universe, it's not going to satisfy me. Not just Swargaloka. Even if I go to Brahmaloka, the bliss I get, that bliss is, try to understand that bliss is much, 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 much more than what we are getting in this world. We would be even completely bewildered by the bliss they are getting in the different planetary systems. But even then, that is also a subpar product. It's a low-class product. It is not exploring the full potency of the soul. That's one kind of cheating dharma. There is another kind of cheating dharma. You get liberation. You get out of this material world, right? So liberation is something like, if you go to sleep in the night and then you don't get any dreams, you have a sound sleep. That is like that. Liberation is like that. So I remember when I was a teenager, one time I had to undergo a surgery, and because I was just entering into my teenage years at that point, I was also a little bit, warm-blooded. So like challenges. When they gave me anesthesia, I was thinking in the operation theater, lying down in the operation bed, that surgical theater, I should withstand this power of anesthesia. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to prove to the doctors, I can overcome, my body can overcome. I have control over my body. I can overcome this power of anesthesia, right? I was just looking, opening my eyes very widely, and then I'm looking at what the doctors and nurses are doing. They are setting up their tools for the surgery to begin. And then suddenly they're saying, Vijay, wake up. I'm like, wow, what happened? Then I see only blackness in front of me. And then I'm just trying to open my eyes. It was very difficult. And then finally I opened eyes, and then I felt so tired because, you lose a lot of blood in surgery, and then you feel tired. I was awoke. I was just, the previous moment I was thinking that I'm going to withstand. But the next moment somebody is waking me up. And then I saw, 2 hours have passed. the surgery has been done, I did not have any awareness of it. I wasn't even aware of me. I was lying down or anything like that, or I was even existing, right? It was like a moment for me. So that is the liberation. Basically, the Atma is detached from your gross and subtle body in the deep sleep, or in the case of anesthesia. So when it is detached, there is no concept of time. How much ever time passes, it will still feel like a moment only for you. There is no concept of time. The time is only within the matter. It affects the subtle body and the gross body. But once you're beyond that, the time is not going to affect. So when you have a deep sleep, you won't even feel like the time has passed. Just a moment, time has passed. Even yugas pass also, you won't even realize. That is why Muchukunda was saying in the 10th canto, he was asking a benediction from the Devatas. I want to actually sleep because I want to spend my remaining lifetime. I cannot be awake because my family everyone died. It's too much misery for me to undergo. And it is also the reason that many people go and commit suicide, because they are not able to tolerate misery in their life, so much suffering. They want to enter into the blankness. They want to finish off their life. So the thinking is that if I just die, everything becomes blank and I don't exist anymore. That's actually the desire for liberation, that you want to liberate out of this world. You feel like you don't even exist, like a deep sleep. Many times, sometimes, even in our own life, if before Krishna consciousness, we may also feel too much miseries come into our mind. We may feel, I just want to go and sleep and I don't want to wake up for a long time. So this is a desire for liberation. Basically, I'm not able to tolerate the miseries of the material world. So that's when you go for the liberation. So liberation is like that. There is bliss involved in it, but that bliss is very, very small compared to the potency of the soul that can enjoy the bliss. So that is also considered as cheating dharma by Bhagavatam. That's why he says, Vujjita kaitavaha. Vujjita kaitava means it is rejecting or throwing out cheating dharmas. And then it is also pra is used. Pra means completely throwing out the cheating dharmas. Atra, in this Bhagavatam, there is no cheating dharma at all. Not even the dharma which is going to explain liberation. Therefore, karma yoga is not there. Karma yoga, by doing karma yoga, you go to different planetary systems within the world. By jnana yoga, you attain liberation. Those yogas are not going to be discussed in the sense of without bhakti. It is not going to be discussed. But then what else is going to be discussed? Paramaha, parodharma. That is going to be discussed. Anybody remembers the verse? What is this? Very nice. Nice. Prabhu. So here is the verse. So this is in the second chapter of the first canto. Sutta Goswami is saying, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktira dhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pumsam paro dharma, that paro dharma of the human beings. What is that paro dharma? Yataha bhakti adokshaje. The dharma by which you get bhakti toward adokshaja. Bhakti here means prema. You get loving devotion toward Krishna. Love of God toward Krishna, adokshaja. That is the paro dharma. That dharma is paro dharma. That is ahetuka. There is no motivation in it. That is any material motivation. I'm going to gain this, so I will love Krishna materially. Spiritual, yes, we want to gain the service of the Lord. That is there. Ahetuka, that is the paradharma. Apratihata, it is uninterrupted. It is not going to start from the morning and then after 1 hour it will end. No, it is uninterrupted. It is going to flow like the Ganges is flowing very fast into the ocean. The speed of the Ganges. Like that, it's going to go continuously. Yayatma suprasidati, by which the Atma will be completely satisfied. That is the parodharma. If the Atma is not completely suprasidati, prasidati means satisfied, suprasidati means very much satisfied. So it is going to be very much satisfied. So when it is Atma is very much satisfied, it's not going to look anything outside. So that is the parodharma, and that parodharma is given here, atra, here. So this is the first phrase. And then the next phrase, Nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. So vastu. Vastu literally means object. But, when we use the word object in English, we usually use it to denote a non-living entity. I say my phone is an object, iPhone is an object, or laptop is an object, or, some other things. My counter is an object, like that. But the word in Sanskrit, vastu, also indicates even the living entities, or the soul, or even the Supreme Lord, vastu. Here is the vastu is, which will be explained later, but here I am saying it is the Supreme Lord, vastu. Vastavam. That vastu is going to exist all the time, past, present, and future. Vastavam vastu. So that vastu is deserved to be known by the Nirmatsara. Matsara means jealousy. So Amarakosha, a dictionary of a dictionary in Sanskrit, it says Anya Shubha Dveshaha. Matsara means. That means you actually hate the good fortune of others. That is what is Matsara. So if I have Matsara, that means I start hating good fortune of other people. I couldn't tolerate the good fortune other people are enjoying. That is Matsara. Nirmatsara means the person does not have that. Sat. Sat is devotees. Satam. Nirmatsaranam satam vedyam. This Bhagavatam is deserved to be known by those people. It is meant for that people. That's why it says deserved to be known. Oh, then we should not study Bhagavatam, because we are not, at least I'm not freed from, all the matsaras. Still jealousy, all these things are there in the heart. So what to do? It will be explained later. Okay, we'll see that. Shivadam. This vastu is going to give auspiciousness. Shiva means auspicious. It's going to give you auspiciousness. Da means giving. Auspiciousness. Tapatraya unmulanam. Tapatraya. Tapa literally means heating. So the suffering we undergo in this material world, that's like a heat. That is why in the first stanza of Guru Ashtakam, it is Davagni, Sansara Dava, Nalalida Loka. The whole world is being burnt by the Sansara of fire. These miseries are like fire. It just burns us within, right? So there are three kinds of miseries like that, which is Adhyatmika, Adibhaudika, Adidevika. Adhyatmika. We ourselves, because of my gross body, I get a lot of disease. We get a corona last year. We get cold, catch cold. Then we grow old. And in the old age, so many sufferings. And my mind, somebody scolds me, I get affected. Somebody tries to take credit of my work, I get affected. So this body, one's own body and mind is creating trouble. That is the Adhyatmika. Adibhaudika. Even if I keep quiet, others are creating trouble to me. So one time when I was in my school, I was walking with a friend. I had fought with him before, that friend. So we were not in good terms, but there was one more common friend for both of us. All three of us were walking. This was in school days. So this person whom I did not have good relationship with, he was wearing his specs. And then he looked down, he put his head like this, the specs fell into the ground, right into the place where I'm going to put my next feet. I couldn't avoid it. It is completely accidental. That was the right place I'm going to put my foot, and then his specs fell down, and then I crushed it, right? So it was an accident. I couldn't do anything, and I was a schoolboy, right? I couldn't even offer him that I would pay money for your damaged specs. And then he also didn't say anything. So I thought, okay, yeah, everything is fine. And then I went home. In the night at 8 o'clock in the evening, suddenly there was a noise outside our home. So myself and my mother went outside, and then I saw that boy has come with his parents. And the parents were very furious. They were angry. They started yelling at me. And they're saying, I'm going to beat this guy. They are pointing toward me. My mother is stopping them. No, you are an elder. You cannot beat this small boy. Then he says, how dare he just plucked my son's spectacles from his eyes in the fight, and then he threw it down, and then he crushed it, and then he laughed. So this is the story he has created in his home. I was keeping quiet. I didn't do anything. Still, somebody is creating a trouble for me, right? And then, of course, my mother was saying, you don't beat, you let your son beat me. So anyways, that guy did not beat me also. But after some time, we went together well, but the parents' relationship is, somewhat twisted. So this is why, when the children fight, the parents shouldn't take it very seriously. If they take it, actually the children, whoever is fighting, they will get along well, with each other well after a few days. But the parents will, their fight will not, end up in a good, happy ending. So don't get into that fight. Anyways, so coming back here, so adhibhaudika, even if you keep quiet, somebody is coming and going to come and create trouble for you, right? And adhidaivika, even somebody doesn't create any trouble. Today we see a lot of rain and the wind, and there is a warning of flood. Flood can happen. Sometimes the earthquakes are there because San Jose is situated in that belt. Anytime anything can happen, right? Adidaivika. So this is tapatraya unmulanam. So this Bhagavatam is going to uproot this tapatraya, these three types of miseries. So until this two phrases, it is only mentioned atra means here. So now it is stating the actual name. Srimad Bhagavate, Srimad Bhagavatam. We saw the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam last time. Prabhupada gives word for word, beautiful Bhagavata Purana. Srimad means beautiful, Bhagavate. Srimad Bhagavate, beautiful Bhagavat Purana. In this beautiful Bhagavata Purana, Mahamuni Krite, it was written by a Mahamuni, a great sage. So who is that sage? Initially, this Bhagavatam was revealed by Krishna himself to Lord Brahmaji in 4 seed verses, Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And then Brahmaji expanded that into 12 cantos of Bhagavatam. Then he passed that knowledge to Narada Muni. Then Narada Muni passed that knowledge to Vyasadeva. Then Vyasadeva gave to his son, and then it is coming in a parampara, Mahamuni Krite. So this Mahamuni can refer to Krishna himself, the original writer of Bhagavatam, or it can also refer to Vyasadeva, who is also an incarnation of Krishna. Kimva Paraihi, what is the use of any other scripture which is going to give you lesser dharma? It's not going to talk about a higher dharma. Kimva Paraihi. Here ends the another phrase. Ishvara sadhyaha hridi avarudyate atra kritibihi. Kriti. These are the people who have accomplished. If you accomplish in your field, you will also be called as Kriti. So Kritibi, by these people, the Ishvara is captured in their heart. So what they have accomplished? They have accomplished Bhakti Yoga. Basically, they are in the stage of Prema. These are the people of, mentioned previously as well, Nirmatsara. They don't have any Matsara in their heart. So these Kritibi, they captured the Supreme Lord into their heart. How? Sadhyaha. Immediately they capture. Okay. So they captured the Supreme Lord immediately. But when did that happen? Next phrase says, Shushru Shubhihi Tat Kshanat. When they developed the desire to hear Bhagavatam, at that point, they actually captured the Supreme Lord into their heart. It is not that they were waiting for the stage of prema, and then in the stage of prema, they captured the Supreme Lord. No, as soon as they developed the desire to hear Bhagavatam, they captured Supreme Lord into the heart, in their heart. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that this can happen even before Shraddha. One gets Shraddha toward the Supreme Lord. Even before the first stage of bhakti, one can develop a desire to read Bhagavatam, maybe for a material purpose. Or you distribute a book to somebody and then says, okay, let me see what this book talks about. The interest is developed. Then the person captures Supreme Lord into their heart. From that point, he is there in the heart. So we'll see a relevant verse from 11th canto. This is 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 55th verse. The meter of this verse is little different. It is called Pushpa Agra, the flower in the front, literally. So it's like a flower in your front, it's placed. Visrijati hridayan yasya sakshat dharirava vihitopyagau ganasha pranaya rasanaya dhritangri padma sabhavati bhagavada pradhana ukta. Actually, I forgot the tune. Give me a second. I've actually recorded this tune. It's a little complicated. Okay, I got it. It goes like this. Visrijati hridayanna yasya sakshad dharirava bihitopyagau ganasha pranaya rasanaya dhritangri padma sabhavati bhagavata pradhana ukta. Visrijati hridayanna yasya sakshad dharirava bihitopyagau ganasha pranaya rasanaya dhritangri padma sabhavati bhagavata pradhana ukta. Visrijati hridayanna yasya sakshat dharirava bihitopyagau ganasha pranaya rasanaya dhritangri padma sabhavati bhagavata pradhana ukta. So this is a tune for this verse. Okay, so what this verse is talking about? This verse says, Shakshat Dharihi. So because of Sandhi, Hari became Dhari, but it is Sakshat Hari. You will see here, Prabhupada is giving word for word, Shakshat Hari. So Shakshat Hari. Na visrijati hridayam. He doesn't leave the heart. Hari himself, not the Paramatma. It is Krishna himself doesn't leave the heart. Yes, of somebody. Who is that person? Whose heart he doesn't leave? Avasha abhihitaha. The person who has called out to Hari without intention. Like Ajamila. When Ajamila called out his son, Narayana, he wasn't intending to call Krishna or Narayana. He just called out Narayana. So Narayana enters into his heart. So similarly, when we go out for Sankirtan, we ask somebody to chant Hare Krishna, and they say Hare Krishna. Krishna enters their heart, and then he doesn't leave their heart. Sakshat Hari, Krishna himself comes, and then enters their heart, and then he doesn't leave that place. Avasha abhihitaha. Though they did not have the intention to call out to Krishna, because they just chanted his name. Krishna is so merciful. He enters into his heart. He's captured. Or they come and join the Sankirtan, and then they dance along with us. And then they say, Hare Krishna, done. Krishna entered their heart. Avasha abhihitaha api. Agauga nashaha. After entering the heart, what he does? Heaps of sins, he actually destroys it. Agauga nashaha. So the heart is being cleansed. So if this is the case for somebody who is unwillingly calling out to Krishna, unintentionally calling out to Krishna, what about those who are willingly and every day doing sadhana and calling out to Krishna? Krishna is already inside of the heart. That's why it says for the next one, Bhagavata Pradhana. And what to speak of the Pradhana of, the chief devotees of Krishna. So what do? Pranaya Rasanaya Dhrita Angri Padmaha. So they take the feet of the Lord and then they tie it with a rope. The rope is Pranaya, love. The rope of love, they tie the feet of Krishna. Just like in the previous days, they used to tie the feet of the slaves with a chain so that the slaves don't escape. Right? So here, Krishna is also tied similarly so that he doesn't escape. But here, Krishna is willingly getting himself tied like that. In the case of Yashoda, we see that Yashoda was trying to bound Krishna into the mortar, but then Krishna was not getting bound. But then he saw the efforts put by Yashoda Mai. Then he himself, out of love, gets bound. Then Yashoda Mai was able to bind him. So like this, here also, out of love, the ropes of love, Krishna's feet is tied into the heart of the Bhagavata Pradhana, the great devotees. So he doesn't leave their hearts. So similarly, those who call out to Krishna with the intention, every day chanting their holy name, he's staying there within the heart. He's not going to leave. Same thing. So the moment they developed the desire to hear Bhagavatam, from that moment itself, Krishna is captured in the heart. So that is what is being mentioned here in the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Any reflection, questions before I move on to the third verse, which completes the Mangalacharana? Rohini Dalal Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful analogies, Prabhuji. I especially like this anesthesia example. So the impersonalists, they undergo a lot of austerity and sadhana to achieve that. And it's just like it's present and it's immediately gone. If they fall down to the material world, the experience is not there at all, right? So
it's a momentary experience. Yeah.
Striking analogy, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Of course, I like that MacBook analogy also.
Thank you. Okay, so the third verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the third verse is actually an invitation by Vyasadeva to all of us. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukatam ritadravasayyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukhadam ritadravasayyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So here, Nigama kalpataru. Kalpataru means desire tree. So you go to this desire tree and you ask for any desire, it just fulfills. You want a car, it gives you a car. You want a cow, it gives you a cow. You want a good wife, it gives you a good wife. This is the desire tree, purpose of desire tree. The Vedas, Nigama, the Vedas are like the desire tree, Kalpataru. Because you can go into the Vedas and you ask anything, it will give you. You want to be free from the diseases, it gives you Ayurveda. You want to learn the warfare, it gives Dhanurveda. You want to learn politics, it gives you so many nitis. Niti. And then you want to learn Sanskrit, it gives you that as well. Or if you want to go to Swargaloka, forget about enjoyment in this world. I want to go to Swargaloka. It gives you the path of karma yoga. You can follow that. Or if you want to kill your enemies or win over your enemies, You can go to Atharva Veda, it gives you that. There's so many mantras and incantations, spells it can give you. Or you want to go to Brahmaloka, it can also give you the path. You want to get out of this material world, the path of Jnana Yoga, and be situated in Brahman. It also gives you that path. Or you want to go beyond that to Vaikuntha and Goloka, Vrindavan. It also gives you that. So it is called Nigam Kalpataru. It fulfills, the Vedas fulfills all your desires. But as soon as we mention a tree, then the tree should have a trunk and branches and the leaves. And the best part of the tree is the fruit. So people plant the trees which give fruits mainly to get that sweet part, to get that fruit. That is the essence, that is the purpose of the tree, right? So this Bhagavatam is like the fruit of that desire tree of Vedas. It is the essence of the Vedas. It is the best part of the Vedas. Galitam. It is not just a fruit, it is a ripened fruit. Very sweet, ripened. And it comes from Shuka Mukha, the face of or mouth of Shuka, Bhagavatam. But Shuka in Sanskrit also means parrot. So when a parrot pecks a fruit, the fruit becomes even sweeter. Why? So the outside part of the fruit actually gets exposed to the sun, and then the starch is converted to sugar and becomes sweeter. But the inner part is not so much exposed to the sun, the fruit. And when the parrot picks it, it puts a hole. Through that, the sunlight can enter, and then it can make inside also very sweet. So the parrot pecked fruit is said to be sweet. And not only that, because the parrot pecks the fruit, it also releases the fragrance from the fruit. So it becomes very fragrant and also very sweet. That is also indicated here. Amrita Drava Sanyutam. This is mixed with a liquid nectar, endowed with liquid nectar. Pibata. So here Vyasadeva is saying, Pibata, drink. This word is used in a second person. So we have first person, second person, and third person. First person means myself. Second person means whoever is standing in front of me. Third person means somewhere else. So if I mention somebody, I would use the pronoun he, she. If I have to mention somebody in front of me, I would say you do this rather than he do this. He does this, right? So in Sanskrit, the verb also takes that form. It says Pibata means the person in front of Vyasadeva, that is the readers of Bhagavatam. He's asking directly us. Through Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva is talking to us. Pibata, drink this. And then it is in plural form. It is calling all of us. Drink this Bhagavatam. Oh, you mentioned this is a fruit. How can you drink the fruit? Right? But it's mentioned it is rasa. It is also juice. Though it is fruit, it is also juice. It is not, usually the fruit is a container and it has juice in it. But this is not like that. This is juice itself without the bad parts of the fruit, which is the skin and the seed. It is nectar, directly the liquid form. So how then the question comes is, if it is like a liquid, and then it is also coming from a tree, it can just drop and then it can just get smashed everywhere, right? So then it will get wasted. Nobody can drink this. No, that's why Shukamukha is mentioned, that it is coming through a parampara. There is somebody on the top of the tree. He's taking the fruit and then passing down to the tree. He's giving to the next person. Next person is taking that fruit and then passing it to the next person. Next person is giving to the next person, coming down through the parampara. We are not accessing the fruit directly by our intelligence. We are accessing through the parampara. That's why we read through the commentaries, not by our own intelligence. Which is safer thing to do. So we access, and that's why it comes intact. It is not damaged, right? You try to pluck it directly, it gets damaged. But through the parampara, it doesn't get damaged. How long should I drink this? Should I just one time drink this and then give up? No, it says alayam. Laya means death, destruction. So until destruction. Alaya means until destruction. What do you mean? What is this destruction? Why destruction is mentioned here? So in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, 3 types of destructions are mentioned: Atyantika and Naimitika and Nitya. So one of the destruction is Atyantika, is basically destruction of gross body and the subtle body. So when you destroy the gross body and the subtle body, you actually get liberated. So it says until liberation. Laya means liberation in this case. Then alaya means until liberation, including liberation. So we have a similar word in Bhagavad Gita, which is famous. A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartina Arjuna. He says, A Brahma. Whoever goes to the Brahmaloka, until Brahmaloka, they have to come here again. A Brahma Bhuvana Loka. So including the Brahmaloka, all the lokas. That is the A. So including the liberation state, as well as all the state prior to this. You have to drink this Bhagavatam. Not one time. Muhu. Again and again and again and again, you have to drink this Bhagavatam. It is a call to Rasika, the Rasika devotees, connizers, those who have appreciation for taste, those who are appreciation for spiritual taste. Rasikas is calling to the Rasika Bhaktas. Bhuvi Bhavakaha. So Bhavaka is usually sometimes used in a derogatory sense also, sentimentalist. Like we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is criticized by Prakashan and the Saraswati in Varanasi. Oh, he's a sannyasi, he's acting like a bhavuka. Same word is used. He's acting like a sentimentalist. He's not sitting and studying Vedanta Sutra. He's acting like a bhavuka. Same word. But it is, the sentiment is spiritual sentiments. So it is appreciated in the earth. So those who are the bhavukas, those who are the rasikas, they should read this Bhagavatam and drink this Bhagavatam again and again. So we reached 8:30. I will actually stop here my presentation. If anybody wants to share anything or a comment or reflection, please feel free to do. Yes, Rogini Dulal Prabhu.
Raj, I have a question on the third verse.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the third verse is also considered part of the Mangalacharan, right?
Yes.
And it is mentioned as Sukhamukhat. So, so should we assume that Vyasadeva already knew that Sukadeva Goswami is going to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he wrote it before he spoke?
So this Bhagavatam is written after Shukadeva Goswami has spoken. So in the 7th chapter of the 1st canto, he says actually he took the Bhagavatam and then he re-edited. So he taught to his son, and then it came, when the Bhagavatam came from Shuka, it became much sweeter than what Vyasadeva taught to Shukadeva Goswami. So he wrote that again. That is one sense. The other sense is, Baladev Vidyabhushan says that Vyasadeva actually saw in the future that Shuka is going to deliver. And then he's writing that Bhagavatam, what is going to be delivered in the future. We have an example for this in the Ramayana. When the Ramayana is going on, Valmiki is writing. He's writing even ahead before the Ramayana things, unfolds. So it is not something new. So Vyasadeva, is a Sarvagya. He knows everything. So he can write like that.
Yes. Actually, he has written this Bhavishya Puran. He's writing about Kalki. In Srimad Bhagavatam, he's writing also about the Bali Maharaj in the next Manvantara will become the Indra. Ashwathama will become Vedvyas, right? Yeah. So he can see in the future, as you said.
That's a very good point. Even the 12th canto of Bhagavatam predicts what's going to happen in the future, which kingdoms are going to come down.
Yes. Wonderful, Prabhu. Let me quickly check if online, if there are any comments. I don't see any.
Okay.
But no, so there are no comments. But wonderful, Prabhu, that Sanskrit translation and that Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's, that thing, that rasa you brought, right? How every verse he's seeing Krishna's pastimes, right? That is wonderful, basically. I never saw these verses like that, but when you started saying, then I recollected, in some of the 10th canto, even if some of the, I think not in 10th canto, even in 7th canto also, I think Hiranyakashipu being I mean, the direct meaning comes something like, Hiranyakashipu is saying something bad, but then the interpretation he's giving, like, no, he's actually saying something good about Krishna. He gives interpretation like that. I think in the 7th canto also it is there, Srimad Bhagavatam, the purports. Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, yeah.
Says like this in Prabhupada's purpose, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes Prabhupada also directly quotes whole Sanskrit blocks in his purport and then doesn't translate. He gives it also.
Aniruddha Nitaracharya Prabhu, I think, has a thing.
Yeah, very nice class. I wanted to point out one thing, that the shuka or parrot, what it normally does, it goes and checks different fruits and only eats those fruits which are very nectarian, sweet, and ripen. So Shukadeva Goswami also, he could have tried other literatures, but he didn't do that because he's like a parrot. He only chose the best and matured literature, and he released it first from Vyasadeva, and then he preached it all through his life. So I just wanted to kind of add what you are saying about Shuka. And
yeah, thank you. Wonderful point.
Thank you. Anyone has? I say something in chat.
Thank you.
So Vijay Damodar Prabhu is saying wonderful delivery.
Hare Krishna, wonderful. You're already known to be a great person in terms of delivery and content, intent, comprehension, everything.
Thank you for adding humor.
Very potent. So that's. I just want to tell, just for the sake of adding, to add the great audience over here. You're talking about Bhavishya Purana and things like that. So, in even the Christian revelations, they talk about the Kalki avatar. There's a saying over there that person white horse will come, and it'll be followed by 144,000 people who will come out from the forest, and they will have the name of God on their forehead. And you can very well guess who are the only people in the entire world, cross religion, cross tribe, cross society, who put name of God on their forehead. So, and we can see one right in front of me. So, Kalki Avatar is kind of mentioned there. I just wanted to add about the Bhavishya Purana.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
Wonderful, Babu. You're anyway always great, and today was just one more feather in your cap. None of Krishna.
Brother Jivan Prabhu should give more lectures, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, Prabhu. Wonderful gathering, wonderful delivery. So we'll close the session today. And maybe this Saturday, I'm flying to, the Yatra, Guru Maharaj Yatra in Jagannath Puri and then Mayapur. So tomorrow I will fly. So next 2 Wednesdays, I think Venugita Mataji will be the host. She will do the hosting. Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Bless me so that I gather some, good blessings.
Oh, Prabhu, I should take blessings from you. You are all, very great devotees. Just hit on the
blessings are
block.
always required. Blessings are always required.
Jivan Das Prabhu ji ki.
Raja Jivan Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you.
Close the session now, Prabhu.
Thank you.